Hi Goose and Emma, this is Mitch. I'm gonna record a quick, hopefully quick, video walkthrough of the property and the house, and just gonna give you guys some tips and tricks for keeping the house working fine and for you guys to have a comfortable stay this winter. So I'm try my best to make this short and sweet, but I do have a lot of things to cover, so we'll get started here. Here is where Alpenglow Lane comes up to our driveway. As you can see, nice and flat. The main two parking spots are right here along the fence line, and then where my car's parked there. You're welcome to park in this grass spot as well if you need to. And like I've said before, generally speaking, you shouldn't need to shovel all that much. There will be probably a handful of storms that dump, 10 inches plus, but in general, it'll be, 2 to 4 inch storms. So here's the propane tank. Ours is the one closest to the house. It's the larger one, and that will be on auto refill, so you guys won't have to worry about the propane at all. Fenced yard. You can see there's the one hose bib right there. I have it covered, and I can't imagine you guys would need to use that. Walking around, here is the bear-proof trash can. It's very durable, very sturdy. The way that you operate it is you have to stick your finger right into this little hole, and then there's a little latch that you pull left, and then you can just lift open. It says Riverside. Our street name used to be Riverside, now it's Alpenglow. So the finished patio, I'm pretty excited about this. The furniture will just stay, and you guys are certainly welcome to use it, this space, as much as you'd like. Walking around. Okay, so here is access to the crawl space. It stays unlocked, and in this area is where the main shutoff for the water is to the house. So one thing that you'll have to do is make sure that access to this door is clear of snow. Oh yeah, and then this is where the propane enters the house. It is currently on, and the blue valve is just an accessory port that I have turned off at the moment. Okay, at this point we will, let's see, a couple more things here. I'm going to leave a snow shovel and a broom for you guys on the front porch. You can see there's a camera up top. We have a camera above this door, and then above the door over to the side yard. And those are just security cameras. Obviously, we don't have any cameras inside the house. So, okay. Okay, a few things about this front door. So the wind gusts here in Estes can be very extreme, and we've had problems multiple times in the past of the wind catching this storm door, swinging it open, and ripping apart the hinges and the attachments to the structure of the house. So I have installed this wind chain, which almost got destroyed last winter from a wind gust. So I would just ask that you guys be very careful to make sure that it closes all the way whenever you're closing the door. That can be, the amount can be adjusted down at this little guy here. And so you'll just have to kind of play around with it to get it where you want it. But yeah, so we have wind chains on both storm doors, and hopefully that helps. Okay. All right, I'll just do a quick walkthrough of the interior. So we have shoe closet, 2 cubbies, whole dining room table, bar stools. Here's the office. Okay, so the vacuum cleaner, we have a really nice Dyson portable vacuum cleaner with a few different attachments that I'm going to talk about real quick. So we usually just keep it plugged in right here, charging. And then I have labeled hard floors and rugs. So just make sure you use the appropriate attachment. If you were to use the rug attachment on the like the hardwood floors, it can damage the flooring. And so these can just be switched out. There's like little buttons. These red buttons can be pushed to detach and reattach. And then there's also like a little wand here, and then this bag is full of extra attachments and an extra, let's see, sorry, an extra filter. So the filter can be twisted off and rinsed. It's just very important that once you rinse it, it must dry for 48 hours before you use it, or it'll damage the vacuum. So this one's wet, it's drying right now. I just rinsed this one, so you guys should be good to go. But you'll probably find that you'll have to use the vacuum a lot. There just tends to be a lot of gravel and debris that gets tracked in from the driveway and whatnot. So here is the DSL modem. There are 2 locations in the house that it can be plugged into, 2 phone jacks basically. Here in the office and then one in the master bedroom I'll show you. What we have found is that you generally need to be fairly close to this modem to get the fastest bandwidth. So I would recommend, if you're going to use, like, say you're going to use this office as your main area to access Wi-Fi or internet, I would keep the modem in here. And then if you foresee yourself needing to have your computers or your devices stationed, I don't know, maybe somewhere on this side of the house, then you can use this other jack. Okay, let's see, what else we got here? We have a cover over the sofa here. The sofa is in decent condition. It does actually pull out into a bed. But you will find that there are like a few kind of rips in the cover. So no worries with that. The TV, we actually never use this TV. We just leave it unplugged, but you're welcome to use it. There is a remote control and an HDMI cable that I'll show you. French doors, a couple of chairs in pretty good shape. Okay, we'll go over to the bathroom here. A couple things about the bathroom. So one, you'll see I have the shower curtain kind of positioned in a funky way where the magnets pull the liner. I have them like kind of stuck against the back walls of the tub. That just allows for a little bit of airflow. It keeps the shower curtain from getting like weird mold and bacteria growing on it. And then another question some of our past tense have had is, how do you turn on the shower? Well, you just turn on the faucet here, and then this thing pulls straight down, and then that turns the shower on. Some storage here, basin sink, some extra storage up there. There's a fan, and pretty straightforward. Okay, moving on to the master bedroom. 2 end tables with lamps. It's just like a wood frame bed with some plywood sheets there, and you guys are welcome to put your mattress on top of that. You can use a box spring. If you were ambitious, you could move this into the other room if you so desire. Obviously, it's up to you how you want to configure that. Closet. One thing I wanted to show you guys about the baseboard heating elements. In this room specifically, I've chosen to flip these covers in the closed position just because I find this room gets very hot. But if you guys, decide you want it to be warm in this room, these can be just like rotated to allow the heat to escape more freely from the radiators. So feel free to play with that. There's also one on the back side there. Okay, 4-burner electric stove, oven. Feel free to use anything that's in the house. We have a, baking dish down there, muffin tins. And you'll find pots and pans, dishware, silverware, so just like I said, feel free to use anything that's in the house. Knife set, dishwasher. I'm going to leave this drying mat for you guys just because it seems to be a nice fit for this space. There's a few cleaning supplies down here. Okay, let's see. Trash can. Couple things about the trash can. One, I leave something like as a spacer behind the trash can, because what happens is when you step on this to activate the lid, if the trash can is up against the wall, it rubs and you can see it's kind of damaging the drywall there. So I just leave a little egg carton thing there. And then the other thing about the trash can, the easiest way to make the liner stay put is to lift up the inside plastic part of the trash can and then tuck the liner into these little handles. And then when you put heavy things in the trash, it stays put. Little chalkboard. Here's the Wi-Fi network and password. Lives there. Few things. I haven't taken my food out of the fridge yet. That'll be my last step. But this fridge is brand new as of, I think, August. And there is a way to make ice. There's like a container up here that I'm going to leave that can fit into, let's see, I think it's, yeah, right in here. You can put that, and then I think there's a way to make ice if you'd like. Microwave. Let's see. So these drawers are just our kind of utility junk drawers. I ask that you kind of just leave these as is. Obviously, feel free to use things inside here. I am going to leave a grill lighter right here, as long as some long reach matches, just in case, like a pilot light on the water heater blows out, or on the boiler. Obviously that wouldn't be something I expect you to take care of, but if you're feeling handy, I actually have a video that demonstrates exactly how to do that. So for your reference, here is a lighter for that. And then here's the remote control for the TV and just some other random hardware and screws and whatnot. And then down here is kind of like, it's about half, the space is about half full of just cleaning supplies, WD-40, hydrogen peroxide, random stuff. If the locks to the doors get sticky, I have some liquid graphite, but they seem to be doing fine right now. Carbon monoxide detector, brand new as of this year. Okay, I'll show you real quick the utility closet. So as I mentioned, it actually hasn't happened in a couple years, but in the past we have had incidents where, like, for whatever reason, strong gusts of wind can affect the pilot lights in these appliances and blow them out. And so on occasion we've had to, it's not the pilot light goes bad, it's just that it needs to be relit. And I have created videos that show exactly how to do that. But again, if that's not something you're comfortable with, we can figure that out. But this is kind of like an emergency electric heater in case the heat goes out. It takes about 30 minutes to get warmed up, but it really cranks if you need it. So the boiler itself, so obviously this is going to be running a lot this winter. When it turns on, it tends to make some clicking noises initially, but it's not something that lasts a long time. So like, you'll get used to it. It's actually not that bad, but don't be alarmed if you hear some clicking sounds or like some weird whooshing sounds from the boiler. They always go away. It's just usually when it calls for heat. Okay, so washer dryer, pretty straightforward. Back here, you guys will want to pay attention to this area because in the past we've had tenants with cats, and the cats love to climb back behind the washer and dryer. And what'll happen is this little power adapter right here will get kicked out of the socket. This is what powers the thermostat. And so if you're not getting heat, it could be because your cat kicked this power adapter out. In fact, I'll show you real quick. One of the things that a previous tenant did is they took this little trash can here and they stuffed it right here. I don't know. A cat can probably jump over that, but feel free to do what makes sense. Yeah, so that is that guy. It just runs around and then into the boiler. One other thing about the washing machine, I'd ask that you please leave the door to the washing machine cracked at the very least, if not open all the way, after you use it for a couple hours, just so mold doesn't grow on the inside. We have had some issues with that in the past. If you want to just leave it completely closed after using it. Note that if it is even partially open like that, it'll impede this door. So it's a tight space, but yeah, that's all I got for you for that. One more thing about the security cameras. As I mentioned, there's one just above the outside of this door and then one above the outside of the front door. Those things are powered from the lamp sockets themselves. You can see how that wire running from the light bulb over to the camera. So essentially what that means is that the lamp socket must stay on at all times for it to receive power. So I put these covers over the light switches that power each lamp socket, and those will just need to stay on. And then the lamp sockets themselves are on a motion detection system. So if they detect motion, they'll stay on for, I think right now they're set for maybe 60 seconds. That sensitivity and that duration can be adjusted. So if you guys find that you would like the lights to stay on longer once they're tripped, I can adjust that for you. Or if you would like the sensitivity that trips them to be adjusted up and down, I can also adjust that. So just let me know. I'll show you real quick. The other one is right here, this guy. So that just stays on. And then the light itself turns on when it detects motion. That's it. I'm leaving both you guys 2 sets of keys. The keys in this house are a little funky, so let me explain. Every door has both a handle lock and a deadbolt. We have not gotten around to changing these locks to be identical, so the handle takes a different key than the deadbolt. The other funky thing about it is on the interior, instead of a latch, it's a keyed throw. So you'll want to be really careful if you have the deadbolt locked while you're inside the house, and then let's say you were to misplace the key, you would not be able to get out. You would be trapped inside the house. So historically, I've even put duct tape over this, but instead of that, I'm just gonna rely on you guys to be responsible. Please, please, if you decide to use the deadbolt on the inside of the house, hang your key on the key rack so that if you need to get out in a hurry, the key can be found very quickly and you can unlock the deadbolt. To be honest, we've always just locked the handles when we need to lock the house, and we've never once had a problem with anything mischievous on this property whatsoever. So if you're asking my advice, I would say you can probably just disregard the deadbolts altogether and just use the handle locks on the doors for security. And again, so that will be the front door, the French door, and then the back door to the side yard. Those will all have, all of those will share the same handle lock, and they'll all share the same deadbolt lock. So your key will work respectively on every door in that regard. Okay, forgot one thing here. Thermostat. I'm going to send you guys an invite, which will give you access via an app on your phone to control this remotely. But ultimately, this is what you call a smart thermostat by Ecobee. It's pretty intuitive, but essentially, let's see if I can walk you through a few things here. So right now it's set at 68 on hold. I can X out of that, and then when you X out of that, it reverts to whatever is on the schedule. So you can program this to have a schedule to where it turns on and off at certain times in the day. But if you're just looking to adjust the temperature, you just click with your finger on the main screen there on the number, and then you can like drag up and down, right? And set whatever temperature you desire. And then when you're there, you just click again, 73. And then you can see it says set at 73 until 9:30 p.m. That's just because at 9:30, it's programmed to do something else. So the other thing is this little flame up here that's orange. You can click that. That's how you would turn the heat off. But ultimately, you guys will be leaving the heat on the entire time because you'll need to have a minimum setting of 58 degrees throughout the lease. So 68 sounds good to me for now. All right. If I think of anything else, I will record more clips. Sorry this was so long, but I hope you guys have a great stay. Feel free to always reach out to myself and Katie if you have any questions or any issues. And we're excited for you guys to enjoy our beautiful home in Estes this winter. Take care.